Hello, Devoted Geeks. Welcome to Geek Devotions, show from Devoted Geeks, or devoted to letting you know you're loved. I'm Dallas. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited because today we're having a great conversation with one of my best friends. He's a childhood friend, Mr. Branson the Boykin. How you doing, Branson?
Hey guys, doing good, doing good.
Now, Branson, you have been part of Geek Devotions really since the birth of Geek Devotions, actually, in
Yeah,
some degree. And
yeah. I remember
um,
the day you called me to say, "All right, Branson, I did it. What'd you do, Dallas? I have created Geek Devotions."
it's
I
alive.
I remember I was driving to Bipsy because I had a class to teach that night, and you were like, "Man, I did it. I took a dive. I'm stepping out in faith." And then you were explaining to me what you were doing, and I'm like, "Yeah, all right."
Oh man. So needless to say you've been there since day one. You've known all about it.
Yeah,
Um and we've been kind of in this track of asking people, man, how has Geek Devotions affected them individually? We're not just putting out content for the heck of it.
right.
It has a purpose and it's to hopefully affect people's lives. So Bryson, how has Geek Devotions affected your life?
Oh man. Uh, have you got a minute? Okay.
Yeah, we
Um,
got a few.
I think the first way that it impacted my life and affected me was just a sense of belonging.
Mm,
I've been a fan of superheroes and comic books and stuff since I was a kid, and where most people grow out of that, they're like, okay, superheroes were fun, but now I'm into I guess more grown up things. I
hmm.
never bothered to get into more grown up things. I mean, I
Yeah.
just I if you have someone who is wearing a mask who is carrying a sword, I am instantly interested. Let's have a talk.
Yeah.
Um, kudos to Zorro, uh, but um, but I never grew out of those things.
Mhm.
Um, and I could find people that were also into it. It's not like I didn't have anybody, but an entire gathering of people who specifically were into those kinds of things was great. And then on top of that, people who were into those things and also shared my faith
Mhm.
was huge. To be able to have a conversation about um, like the one of the greatest geek devotions I think I've ever seen was when you did a whole series on how Batman is a parent to the different Robins
Yeah, yeah.
and how that's a picture of God's relationship to us, and that whole series was awesome. But nowhere else was I able to have a conversation about Batman and Robin, and it turned into a relationship between God the Father and us, his children, and,
Mm.
and for that seamless transition to work, and it completely rewired the way I would look at movies and comic books because then I would start looking for, oh, that would make a good devotion. Oh, that would be an awesome devotion. you know, uh, even my absolute favorite movie of all time, Lady Hawk.
Yeah.
To this day, I can't watch it without saying, "Okay, there's a devotion. Oh, that's a devotion. There's a devotion." So, uh, it was a great place of community. It was a great place to belong, and it got me thinking differently about the things that I enjoyed and looking for God's fingerprint, looking for ways that God kind of signed His signature into the stories that we tell.
Yeah.
You know, and that that also is a big deal because I've got two little boys, and
Oh, yeah.
they they're getting into they're not as heavy into superheroes as I am.
Mhm.
My oldest is more into like video games and things like that, video
Sure.
editing. Um, my youngest is going through a Super Mario Brothers kick right now. He was
Respect
going
that.
through a Ninja Turtles kick there for a while. Before that, it was Sonic the Hedgehog. So he's heavy into the animated properties right now.
Right.
Although he is a big fan of Justice League, though. Uh,
Let's go.
yeah, the Bruce Timm cartoon.
Yeah.
He's got little stand characters that he plays with, but it's really neat because they too have a place where they can go and feel like they belong somewhere. Talk to people who are into what they're into,
Yeah.
but at the same time share their faith and reinforce that faith.
Mhm.
And as a parent, um, that's a big deal
Yeah.
because, you always want your kids to have friends,
Mhm.
but you want your kids to have friends who are a positive influence and actually encourage them to do well. And Geek Devotions has provided a place like that. He, my oldest boy, he'll watch the stream that y'all do on Tuesday nights. He looks forward to it. He gets
Mhm.
excited about it, and he'll banter back and forth with with the other people there and that kind of thing. And I feel like I need to apologize for the inordinate number of times that he played Sailor Moon while Celeste was streaming.
That
There
was
was
me.
one.
I was
Oh, that was
streaming. He
you.
was just he was spamming it.
He must have done it with both of you then. But I was watching it, and I was watching him like cash in the currency y'all have on the stream. I'm like, what are you doing? I said, I'm playing Sailor Moon. It's like, okay, someone's going to be sick of this song when this is over. But it's
Yeah, for
it's neat that he has a place where he can go and do that and
yeah.
feel like he belongs. And not to dampen the mood too much here, but
Yeah.
there was my sister-in-law passed away back
Yeah.
in February, and it got to my wife pretty good.
Mhm.
And I remember distinctly, he was on the stream, and y'all would ask for prayer requests and stuff, and he said, please pray for my mom because my aunt's dying and she's not doing too well with it. And I think you were the one streaming that night, and you stopped and you prayed and you're able to pray for him, and that's a big deal as a dad to excuse me for uh, for your little boy to be vulnerable like that
Yeah.
and have a group of people who get it and who are gentle with him and give him a soft place to land, to feel loved, and to be open like that, to say, hey, I've got this really bad situation in my life and it's making me sad.
Mm.
And the response to be, well, hey, we're here for you. Let's pray. Let's lift up your aunt. Let's lift up your mom. And that's a big deal
Yeah.
to an 11-year-old to have a place where they can do that. And it's a big deal for me as a father to have a place like that for him, because I don't know if you know this or not, but the internet is not a safe place for kids. So for him to have a place where he can engage in his his interests and the stuff that he's into, and
Yeah.
it be uplifting and it be supportive of the faith that he has.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, that's a bigger impact to me than even having a place where I can just talk about superheroes all day long. Just,
Sure.
having a safe spot for my kid to hang out and be part of a group of people that understand him
Mhm.
and know that the values that I try to instill in him are being supported
Yeah.
and backed up by people that he looks up to and people that he associates with.
Word.
So,
So
does that
good.
answer the
So
question?
it does. It's great. It's great. I didn't even talk this entire time. This has been fantastic. So I will say this. One of the things I enjoy about having young B, which is what we call Branson's son, is he brings a levity to things. He brings a lot of light, but he's just part of the mix. When he's in there, nobody. It's all part of the community, and he's encouraging other people while he's there. And that's one of the things we try to do with it is, we try to encourage people. Look, this is a space where yes, we're gonna minister to where we can, but we minister to each other, and
Right.
he takes part in that. Him asking for prayer was him operating in ministry himself and ministering to
Yeah.
his mother, ministering to his family, ministering to you, but also just when we take time to pray for people, he's in there praying with us also.
Yeah.
And so I'm very proud of Young B
Yeah.
when he's in our group. And so been a
Oh,
pleasure.
I want to share this too. The Christmas Spider-Man devotion
Yeah.
that I did, that he actually got to use some new equipment. He got a camera for Christmas that year. And so he videoed me doing the devotion for that. He still talks about that to this day. He was like, I'm so excited that I got to be part of something big. Like, he was just over the moon that he got to record a video that made it on Geek Devotions. So that was like a watershed moment for him. To this day, he is still into video editing and all that stuff. Matter of fact, he was using it today for some stuff.
Let's
And
go.
yeah, and that was just a watershed moment for him to be a part of Geek Devotions and to be able to record a video for Geek Devotions. It was a big deal for him.
So
So
awesome. So awesome. Well, I'm so proud of him. Thank you, Branson, for being part. And for those of you who are watching, Branson does produce all kinds of great stuff on his own. He's got a podcast called Gospel by Gaslight, which, by the way, if you talk to Francisco Ruiz, he has issues with your titling. But
I have heard.
you have another podcast. I want to just plug this real quick. What's the new podcast that God's kind of working inside of you right now with?
It's called Solid House Podcast. It is a, for lack of a better term, it's just a place for me to spew out some things that God is working inside of me. I've been very, very preoccupied with this idea that Jesus said, if a man who listens to my commandments and does them is like a man who builds his house on the rock, and the
Mm-hmm.
waves crash against it and the storms blow against it, but it doesn't fall down because it's solid built. And especially in today's uh, issues and everything, having a morality and an objective standard of right and wrong that doesn't shift with the times,
Mm-hmm.
a right that's going to be right for forever, that's not
Right.
going to change with the shifting times, I think is something that's so important. And the podcast just basically gives me a place to talk about that, to talk about those issues. Right now, I've just got a trailer out.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in the process of writing out the first couple of episodes. I haven't posted them yet. I don't even know what the schedule's going to be. Uh, it is very much a. I had it bouncing around in my head for a long time, and
Mm-hmm.
then one of the pastors at my church a couple of Sundays ago preached on ready, set, move. And she said, we as Christians are really good about the ready and the set, and then
Mm.
the ready and the set, and then the ready and the set, but we never actually get to the move point.
Yeah.
And it's Destiny D's at North Point.
Word.
And she said, as Christians, at some point we have to move. We have to take that first step. And I felt convicted. So that night I went home and recorded the trailer and created the podcast and put it up there. And I have no idea where it's going. I have no idea what it's going to turn into. We're just going to kind of wait and see.
Lit. I'll have a link in the bio or in the description for you guys to check that out. I do want to invite you guys. Branson is going to be part of our 40-hour stream through some video clips he's made for us that we play periodically, some dramatic Bible readings and whatnot. But I want to remind you guys this Friday we are doing a 40-hour live stream to raise funds so we can turn Geek Devotions to a nonprofit organization, which opens doors for several things. So if you guys want to be part of that, twitch.tv/Geek Devotions is the website. Starting at 6 a.m. on Friday, and we'll be going until 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on Saturday night. So, Branson, thanks for being a part today.
Thanks
And
for having me.
everyone else, stay devoted. Peace and love.